everyone, I'm back. It's been a couple hours. I went and had my dinner. My box here has stiffened up quite a bit. As you can see, before I went in for dinner, I added my feet. I decided to go with these slightly pointy little Hershey Kiss type feet and set it down. It's pretty level. And I decided to go with a little more of just a curly Q handle, although I still have my little kitty here that I finished. Gave him some tail, a nice long tail. Notice the tail loops up and touches his back, so it's less likely to break than if it were sticking straight out. And didn't really give him a face or anything. I can paint that on later if I want, but I'll probably just glaze him a solid color. But he would also make a great little handle. Maybe I'll put him inside as a little surprise. So in order to cut open the top, what we want to do is cut not too far from the top, and we want to create what's called a puzzle top. So you want to be careful about how you cut it open, in that I should have a pencil. You don't want to create any parts that won't actually open. So if this is the lid and the base, all of the cuts need to be wider at the top. I can't have any parts that kind of go down and get wider. So puzzle tops, it fits together like a puzzle, but you don't actually want any puzzle pieces because that won't be able to lift out. All the cuts need to be wider at the top than they are at the bottom so that it can pop off. If you want, you can draw it first with a pencil and just kind of create a line, or you can freehand it. But if you just cut it flat, it won't, the lid will just slide off and it won't really hold on very securely. So it's nice to make kind of a puzzle top. And you want to avoid like jagged teeth, too many jagged ones. Some gentle curves are kind of better. And so I included this sharp tool with your kits, and this is the only thing you're really going to need it for. So you guys who have the younger kids may want to hide it after that. So I'm going to start, doesn't matter where you start, kind of puncture it in. And remember, there's a plastic bag in there, so if you feel like you're getting hung up on anything, it's probably that plastic bag. So you can just pull out and go back in a different, and it won't catch on the bag. So I'm just going to create kind of a gentle curve all the way along, up, follow a bit of my pattern that I made, go over there, very gently, and you want to avoid kind of a lot of sawing marks because that just makes a lot of work that you need to do later to clean it up if you're sawing back and forth. So try to cut as opposed to saw. And turn it. You can notice I did a little bit more carving and scroll work as well. And you can just cut through it and it'll all line up. And make that kind of an obvious corner so I know which way it goes. So again, all of my cuts are wider at the bottom, narrower at the top. That's not right. On the lid, they're wider at the top, narrower on the bottom, so that there's no undercuts and it will just pop off neatly, sticking to the plastic bag. So what I've done is I've taken part of the top slab that we put on and part of the wall that we wrapped around the canister to be part of the lid. So this is the seam I did earlier. So if you need to, you might want to go in and smooth that out. So the plastic bag can come out now. You can wrap your clay bits in that again just to help keep them moist. And you'll notice, oops, I lost a foot. There's some little burrs here that you may want to knock off. Get your finger a little bit damp, not real wet. Smooth it out. You can knock some of those off later as well. Clean it up a little bit. Same with the lid. Anytime you cut, there's going to be those little jagged bits. And if you need to, you can smooth out the inside. Where's my little tool? You can use your little wooden tool. You just drag it along in there. Clean up the seam a little bit. And just smooth all those jagged edges. And set it back on. You don't want to get it too wet. You don't want it to stick, but you didn't score it. And I might need to do just a little more roughing up of my surface here to get my foot to sit on there. A little more sturdy. And there I have a cute little box. The lid opens. I'm going to let it dry on there. I can come back again later, smooth it out a little bit as necessary. And the little crummy bits from doing the carving, when this gets dry, they will just knock off quite easily. Whereas now, if you try to smooth it out too much when the clay's wet, it kind of smushes around. Don't forget to carve your name into the bottom. You can just do that with the wooden tool. Scrape it in there. If you have some extra, you can see some of my scratch marks there. I'm going to clean up. And then we are all done. And you can set it off to stiffen up a little bit. All right, I look forward to seeing your lidded boxes that you make. Take care. Bye.